So could you please welcome him to the stage, Brian McClair. Brian, obviously there was this disconnect between the board members, the management and the players who were out of contract. We ended up losing Mo Johnston anyway, even though he was a guy that we're focusing on keeping. Who was interested, to your knowledge? Was it just Manchester United? Were there other clubs interested?
Then the contractual situation was that you would, probably a bit similar to now, that you could speak to other clubs. Other clubs could express an interest, and you could speak to them after January or something like that. So Davy Hay had told me this, and I had various different people phoning me saying clubs were interested. Tottenham, I think, were one. Tottenham were, Chelsea, a couple of Belgian clubs, Cologne in Germany. That's all. Manchester United. That's all I can remember. So it was like you'd then be allowed to, if you wanted to speak to whoever was interested. I was only interested in Manchester United or Celtic because I had been a fan of United since the early 70s. You know, they were my English team, and that's the team that I followed, the English team I followed. So.
Was there also maybe an ambition, having started off down in England and not getting an opportunity to break into the first team, to go back down there and maybe prove to people that you could do it?
No, there's no thing about that. I think that playing for 4 years with Scotland and playing in European football, because the English teams were banned from European football at that time, arguably could have been as good, if not better, way of showing that you're playing in good teams and enjoying yourself as a football player and scoring goals and winning games. So there wasn't really much of a difference. It came down to at the end that I made that decision that I would go to Manchester United. Alex Ferguson was the one who convinced me that he said to me he wanted to rebuild a football club. Do you want to be part of that, son? And I thought, yeah, I think I might want to be part of that. And his dream and his vision has hugely surpassed anybody's dreams and wild imaginations, considering what happened in his tenure as the manager of Manchester United.
Who welcomed you into the Manchester United dressing room? Who were the players? You spoke about Tommy Burns, Roy Aitken and that, the jokers of the dressing room. Who were the jokers at Man United at that time?
Well, it just seems to me that the two funniest people that I've met in football are both ginger nuts. Tommy Burns and Gordon Strachan. I can't imagine what they were like together when they were managing Celtic, you know. But both of them were quick, sharp, funny. Still funny now that I was killing myself laughing during the week that Gordon suggesting that I got sacked from the SFA because I wouldn't wear a suit.
You haven't seen his presentation.
The only thing that's different from what I normally wear is the shorts are in the wash.
We haven't seen Brian's presentation skills yet though, but that's in part 3.
Well, there's all different kinds of presentation skills, isn't there? A lot of people who like to see results on a piece of paper and can be tangible and you can see them, don't understand gut reaction or gut feeling. When I was doing the pro licence, coaching pro licence through the SFA, and Walter Smith came to talk to us a couple of times about his experience as a manager.
Feel free to boo.
I was quite happy to. Yeah, I'm quite happy. But he's a cracking man and he's a very successful manager. Now, he said that the 2 times that he went against his gut reaction, he got both of them fucking wrong. And the chief executive SFA at the time couldn't understand that gut reaction. He just couldn't get it. And it's part of the thing about football. Really, is a feeling. It's about a learned kind of thing. And sometimes you just got to make decisions based on how you feel in that particular moment. Buying players, selling players, picking teams, choosing tactics. And that's something that's learned over a hell of a long period of time. I first started kicking a ball about when I was walking, when I was 2 years of age or something. And my best friend, when I was 2, was called the Wall, because all other kids were at school. So I was thrown out in all weathers, and I just kicked the ball against the wall. And I got quite good at kicking the ball against the wall. And then I just did that for... I used to laugh at people saying to me when, maybe earlier on in my life when I used to go out, I could do what you do, but I just didn't get the breaks. I wasn't as lucky as you. And I would say, well, what do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I'm a plumber, or I'm a gas fitter, or I'm an electrician, or I'm a tiler, or I'm a joiner, or I'm a bricklayer. I said, did you practice for 14 years before you got paid? Don't be so fucking stupid. I says, well, I did, because I started practicing when I was 2. And I didn't get a penny for it until I was 16. All right, okay, fair point, yeah.
You have mentioned today, before we came on stage and we've been on the stage, a number of Scottish managers, Brian, going back to Matt Busby, Bill Shankly, Jock Stein, Alex Ferguson and Walter Smith. It was like a procession of outstanding Scottish managers. Is that something that you believe will continue in this modern day, how the game has changed so much? Could we still produce managers of that stature?
I think again it's the same about the chances you're going to get, the opportunities that are going to be given to you, and they had the same kind of thing. Alex Ferguson started his managerial career at East Stirling, and when he went there, I think that the first day he was there he had 7 signed players, so he had to go out and scrambled out to get a team, a squad, St Mirren, Aberdeen. So he grew into that thing. There's no reason if people really, really want to do it, I'm a very firm believer that if that's what you really want to do, go and chase it, chase a dream, and try and do that.
What's your thoughts on the number of managers nowadays who haven't played the game?
Well, there's a situation for all these things, as long as they enjoy themselves, and as long as they laugh, as long as they kind of look as if they actually love the game and love the supporters. I think that may be the biggest criticism that I can see about Jose Mourinho. He didn't look as if he was enjoying himself at all, and I never got that, because he was the manager coach of one of the biggest teams in the world. Surely it should be enjoyable. Now you go the other way, and people will be critical of Neil Lennon, but he looks as if that he's really enjoying himself. Particularly when Celtic scored a last minute goal at Dundee recently, where he's I don't think he could run that fast when he was playing.
No, definitely no.
But it's great to see, and supporters want to see that kind of thing, or at least give the view, a feeling that they really care, and it's enjoyable, because we'd all want to have a wee go at it, because that's the beauty of football. Is everybody's got a view on it, different one, but entitled to have a view on it, because you watch it, you read about it, you've learned about it, you play it, think about it, dream about it, and that's what I'd like to see from the other way around, and say that I love this. So Jurgen Klopp for me is a great example. I don't know if he loves Liverpool, but he appears to love football, and he appears to love his players, and that would be the thing that I would say, well, what's the biggest difference between him and Jose Mourinho? Jose looks as if he doesn't even love himself, and that should be the first part of it.
When you went to Manchester United, Brian, there was very much a group of players who had been kind of drinking buddies at Old Trafford, and Alex Ferguson tried to stamp it out.
No, he did. He didn't try to. He did.
He did it.
I was no trying about it.
He stamped it out.
Bang, done.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay here, son? Aye. Stop fucking drinking. Do you want to stay here? See you. And it was difficult decisions he made, because it's not about, see, that's part of it, right? So, and then it wasn't just Liverpool had a drinking culture, and they were winning European Cups, so it's not. It's not down to that. That's the sort of thing that comes out of that. What the thing is about it is that managers, coaches, anyone in that type of position where you have to choose people to perform in a particular event, are only interested in the ones who are available to do that. If you're injured, if you're suspended, if you're ill, or if you're misbehaving, they're not interested. They're only interested in those ones that are there to play the games. Now, just the way it was, Paul McGrath, Norman Whiteside, Kevin, maybe not so much Kevin, and Brian Robson as well, were injured a lot. Now, whether that was down to the preparation, whether that was down to the lifestyle, whatever, he changed that in that he needed players maybe not as inspirational, maybe not as good, because my view, Norman Whiteside was one of the best players I've ever played with, and he was broken then because he was injuries and he's in all sorts of situations, but as a football player, football intelligence and intellectual intelligence, incredible. But he wasn't available enough times to play. You need to have that. So you look at the teams that are consistent and teams that are they're squads that are fit and available, and that's it. The player who's fit is clearly more used to you than the player who's got a twisted sock.
You went to Celtic, it was obviously a step up from Motherwell, and at that time in 1987 moving from Celtic to Manchester United, how much of a big step up was that in terms of the size of the club, the preparation, the players?
I would say Steve will disagree because like Man United classes on that, but in the sense of that they just had more better players, that was all. So that Man United had more better players, that was the only difference, and so that challenged me every day. And maybe part of the thing was that Alex Ferguson chooses me out of all the players they could have picked right through the United Kingdom and possibly several parts of Europe to his first signing. Gives you a huge boost to your confidence that he's there and he's going to play you, and it's down to me. And I hadn't had that because up to that point all the managers that had signed me had got sacked or left. So this is the first time that somebody had managed to stay in the job 2 weeks after I had arrived, you know.
How did the other players in the dressing room feel about that? Because obviously, new manager comes in, you go straight in as his first signing. So a lot of them will be viewing you with suspicion. Going, is this guy a spy in the camp? Is this...
a spy in the camp because you just signed?
No, you know what I mean? Like, you can...
I went to bed, nobody knew that story, right? You didn't know that.
No, you know what I mean? You see, for example, Brendan Rodgers brought in Scott Sinclair because Scott knew how...
No, is he a spy?
This is like the Gerrard interview for yesterday.
It might be handy. Might be handy for Neil to know that. Really.
But did any player hate your fucking guts?
Well, yeah, well... in a way, probably in a way, Frank Stapleton, great player, cracking lad, had just left, or Alex Ferguson gave him a free transfer, and he signed for Ajax, which seemed to me a pretty reasonable move for him, having played for Arsenal, Man United, and then to go to Ajax to play the final part of his career. And I remember going to Old Trafford because we didn't train there, we trained in Salford at the Cliff or Ayrshire Road, and I bumped into Frank in reception at Old Trafford, and I said, I'd never met him before, I said, "Hi Frank, how you doing? All the best, hope things go really well for you in Holland, the Netherlands." He said, "Thanks very much," and he turned round and said to me, "Good luck." And as I walked to go through the door to go up to the offices, he didn't realise that I could hear it. He went, "You'll need it." So I thought, "Oh, fucking thanks, Frank." What is it with it? Anyway, it's just Frank's kind of... He's very lugubrious, Frank, and it was just his kind of thing. And you expect that kind of thing. I don't know if any of them hated me because I just kind of went in there and did the same things I always did. They were there for my entertainment in the dressing room because like I wanted to be entertained every day. So they all thought I was weird anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. So
You came for a Celtic team where Paul McStay was a jewel in the crown. Would McStay have flourished at Man United?
Nah, I think he would have, Yeah, because one of the things right away was that Paul, a fine footballer, but he was always available to play, nearly always available to play, and that's what they wanted. Now you'll have to ask Alex Ferguson or Acsom why they weren't interested, or were they and Paul decided they wanted to stay at Celtic. I don't know that. There's somebody in here that texts Paul all the time, or every now and again, so they can ask him to text them. But don't text them now, he might be sleeping.
what Fergie did at Aberdeen, as well as had a great first team, Brian, he obviously dedicated a lot of time to youth. Aberdeen continued to have a good strong side in the late 80s and early 90s as a result of that. When did it become clear to you that he was replicating that at Old Trafford, and there was this crop of young players coming through? And he was going all over the place signing the talent.
Well, he did that right away because he recognised there was, hear him talking about they were going in to coach at night time. But there was a lot of young players there who very quickly went because they decided they just were nowhere near good enough, and they had a real big cull, which must have been difficult for them to tell these players who'd been at United for, it's not so much the same thing now, but had been romanced by Manchester for a long period of time and just been told all of a sudden you're not good enough. So they virtually started again. And they were clever enough with the people that they brought in to, not only yourself and Archie were putting in the hours, but they brought in Brian Kidd, who knew all the school headmasters because he was a local boy. And they were doing the scouting for him. They brought in Les Kershaw as the chief scout. So his recruitment policy regarding the staff has always been excellent.
When you look at the fact that he's come in and there's been a cull of young players, Brian, and all these younger guys are coming in, people probably like Lee Sharp, etc., was part of that first.
Well, they bought Lee
flourish,
Sharp, didn't
was
they?
it Torquay came in from?
Yeah, they bought him, but there was the first ones that came in were Lee Martin, Russell Beersmore, and the manager's son, Darren, and you could see they were all competent football players. Lee Martin, who went on to play for Celtic as well, he was slightly unfortunate in that he had a massive nose. He had a few injuries. He had a few injuries, and that's why I didn't quite. And then from that, Phil Neville emerged out of that, and Phil was the one that they wanted, and then that's why they signed Gary on, because they wanted Phil. Phil could have been an international cricketer for England. He had those qualities, and there was lots of other clubs interested in him, and they kept Gary so that Phil would sign. And at the end of it, I suppose it's debatable that Gary might have ended up as a better player, but Phil as a 17, 18-year-old when he came into the team was exceptional.
One of the things that our friend Steve has mentioned is that it was always good to have a Scottish player at that time, and when things got a bit hairy, you could always count on somebody like yourself, if necessary, to get involved. And obviously there was we'll come on to the issue that you had, I think, was it Nigel Winterburn of
What
Arsenal?
do you mean you think it was?
Was it him?
It was actually quite amusing because last night the guy who did this thing with Patrick Barclay, who's a fantastic journalist, Scotsman, Dundee supporter, but we won't. There you go. There's a Dundee fan in the room. Excellent. He should be at the game though. It's just down the road at Paisley, So I'm quite honoured. They said he came to see me. I'm like, you're mental, by the way, if you don't come to see me and go watch a game of football. And the other guy said, yes, can you just tell us about that problem you had with Nigel Worthington? I was like, I don't recall having a problem with Nigel Worthington. Did I have a problem with Nigel Worthington? Who also played left back as well, although he was Northern Irish. I said, you sure? Oh shit, sorry, Winterburn. Yeah, I had a few problems with him. He had a few problems with me, more like, so.
What was that rivalry like between Man United and Arsenal at that point?
Oh, it was huge. I think it started really when the season before I came and Fergie got... Well, no, it's always been a huge rivalry, but I think the real friction started at the previous season at Old Trafford. Were you there? When Norman Whiteside decapitated a few... Arsenal had done a long unbeaten run, and they came to Old Trafford, and Norman assassinated a few Arsenal players and got away with it, and Arsenal players completely lost it, and there was a huge thing with it. Not as good as mine, but there was a fair effort at a brawlish thing during the game, and so I think that kind of started from then and kind of perpetuated for the next 2 years, 2-3 seasons, The Fergie always wanted to win against the teams that were winning things, winning championships that Arsenal had been managing to do at that time.
What was the turning point where Man United, when did the club become the Man United that we knew under Ferguson? Was it winning the FA Cup, winning the Cup Winners' Cup?
No, I think that when you could see that by, I mean, the friends of mine, Norman and Paul, Kevin, but that he was ruthless enough, and Gordon as well, to right, so you're going to go and be strong enough to say have his heated belief to bring in other players who found it really tough when they came in. All the players that came in, McPhailens, Pallister's, Paul Ince, Steve Bruce, it was tough at the beginning. Danny Wallace, but you could see that they were all fit and ready to play. And we could see we were going somewhere, and also within that we knew that what was coming from behind, because we used to watch the youth team playing in the morning and see Scholes and Robbie Savage. No, he played. He was there. He was in the same team. It's fucking hopeless. But he went to Leicester.
For more money.
Brian, we're talking about turning points. He's obviously spent a lot of money, and he spent a lot of money on Jim Leighton, who was dropped for the replay, wasn't it, against Crystal Palace, 1990 FA Cup. Now, they still don't talk, apparently. I was hearing Jim Leighton last year. I mean, how can that be in your workplace when the manager and a player just do not communicate?
David Hayner used to talk to me, and I was there for 4 years. You got to make it's clear about it was that Jim was in poor form. He should have been left out weeks before that, but they persisted with it. We played a game at the City Ground not long before the cup final. Might be the last league game, I don't recall, the last midweek league game, and Stuart Pearce played for them at the time. That's because he managed City. And he talks shit.
Likes the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, so there's. Yeah, but his brother's in some kind of nice political party, isn't he? So anyway, he used to smash free kicks in all the time. A great smashing free kicks in. And this game, we're already in the wall. Got to be brave because it's going to be sore if he hits you. He runs up and he chips the ball over the wall. And we thought, oh, thank God for that. We're not going home with sore bollocks or sore thighs or sore 6 packs. Oh, 4 packs, 2 packs, all right, whatever. And Jim dived over it. He actually dived over the ball and it trickled over the line. I go, what the fuck are you doing? And I knew we were contact lenses and things at the time. Are you blind? Fucking hell. 4-0 they beat us. And really that was probably but they stuck with him in the cup final, and he didn't have the best of games, to say the least. But we played the cup final replay was on a Thursday, and we should have known there was something different because the manager always stuck to a routine. And the night before he said team talk before dinner. He never did that before, and he just named the team, and then went through what we were supposed to be doing and walked out. Everybody was like, oh my God, Jim's not playing, Les is playing. And it was like, we had dinner. Jim went to his room, and I was the one that was Jim's roommate, so I had to sit and listen to him. No, I didn't listen to him. He was on the phone all night talking to people, saying how upset he was, and that's just continued. So I can understand in a way, but it's a bit of a long time now, really, to be. But I can understand. I don't think Fergie will be asked, really. No.
Do you need that kind of ruthless streak, though, Brian? A lot of the big managers, when we're talking about Steen, etc., they were clearly quite ruthless. And obviously, as you say there, at the end of the day, he's not going to be bothered because they won the cup.
It's not that. It's saying is he's looking at you as a commodity, and I know it sounds kind of cruel, but that's how it is. He's looking at a group, and how can because he wants to be successful, and he wants to win things, and he wants to stay doing what he's doing, and he's evaluating you all the time, and that's just the way that what happened. And you can look at it a different way around and say, actually, he's doing Jim a favour by not putting him back in that situation, because he had a torrid time in the game on the Saturday, and subsequently in the press and all the forms of media then, and it was just the right decision, and he got the right result, and then we kept winning after that, because you get into a habit of wanting to. You always want to win and win trophies, and that kept going into the great heights that all those teams that he built. But that's how he worked. Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, it's ruthless. Yeah, but he's not. There's nothing personal about it. He wasn't picking on Jim to say that I want you to hate me for 30 years. It was just, otherwise he'd have probably chosen me. I got away with murder off the pitch.
You know, the period 87 to 90, we think about Fergie now, there's a veneer of invincibility about him. Was there ever a point where you actually felt that it was getting to him and he didn't believe he could actually turn it around and save his job?
No, because he was getting a proper shoeing every day in the press. We were getting it Sunday, maybe Monday evening paper, but he was getting it every day, and they never ever said that it was he did tell us it was our fault, but he told us to our faces it was our fault, and we were all shit, which was acceptable, and we needed to do better, which is absolutely correct, and if there wasn't, he wasn't going to be, I'll get some other person to do it, which he did on several occasions, but he never put any added pressure on us, which was quite remarkable, really. You know, he never criticised us publicly, gave us plenty privately, sometimes merited, sometimes not.
You always think back to 92, 93 and the big changes in English football, the modernisation of that with the introduction of Sky Sports. Brian, as a player, what was the biggest differences you noticed? Was it the signing of more players from overseas, or?
Well, the biggest difference is the biggest difference, and it made a huge difference to the team that won the league, the last English First Division Championship, which was Leeds United, was that the following season they almost got dragged into a relegation battle because their one major tactic got completely fucked up, because you couldn't pass the ball back to the goalie and he couldn't pick it up anymore, and that's what they did. Their back four, or particularly the two centre halves, always passed the ball back to John Lukic, who'd shell the ball up the pitch for Lee Chapman and Eric Cantona. No, I don't know anything about Lee Chapman's wife and Eric Cantona. Right? I don't know anything about that, right? Although she did some weird with her lips, didn't she? Can't say that was Eric either. Anyway, they shelled the ball up the front, and they did really powerful midfield. They had Speedy, Gary McAllister, David Batty and Gordon Strachan, and that's Mark Busby used to say the opponents won't score a goal in their own half, and that's what Leeds did. The following year it completely fucked them up. They had to kick the ball out for throw-ins and corners, and John Lukic was decent with his feet, but he couldn't get so they were pinned in and they were losing. And one of the things that tickled, funny enough, it was we played Leeds that season. I remember Gary McAllister in the players' lounge after, in the days that they used to invite the opposition in for a drink, win, draw or loss. And I remember Gary talking to some friends and he goes, "Fucking hell, you don't believe it, every fucker wants to beat you when they're champions." And I'm like that. We hadn't been champions by then. I'd been there 4 years at Celtic, 3 years at Man United, 4 years at Man United. I'm thinking, fucking hell, welcome to our world. 8 years I've had that. You've only had it for a couple of months. Anyway, that was Gary McAllister saying about that, you know. I didn't go over and say, fucking hell, do you think you've got it tough?
So Leeds sell Man United Eric Cantona. What was he like in the dressing room?
Brilliant.
Could you got moved back to midfield?
No. Signed Eric Cantona. I thought, well, when I heard the news, for some reason Davy Hayes' image came into my head. And my first thing was, well, that's me fucked. Plays in the same position, I'm bollocks now, but well, fair enough. He seems like, well, we didn't know, we knew he was a good player, but from everything else you can see that he was a non-font terrible, which for the non-Italian speaking students in the room is a naughty child, which a lot of us have already had, particularly when they're 2 years of age. But he was brilliant when he came in, really polite. I could tell that he was intelligent and good sense of humour, worked hard, great skills, and just wanted to be. And it was as if it was like that was his place. They talk about theatre dreams. You need a stage. That's your stage in order to perform. It was as if you thought, yeah, this is where I belong. And he was very respectful to everyone, and he quite quickly gained the trust, loyalty, and respect of us all. And he wasn't a bad player either.
Often it's called, Brian, the Cantona effect, because when he came in, he introduced a lot of the different techniques that he maybe had gathered in France. And there was a suggestion, practice
speaking French.
The French speaking, but
painting. We were all painting. We couldn't believe it. We were all in fields in the middle of France the week
landscapes.
later. Painting. But if you ever seen any of Eric's paintings, you'll see there's a great photograph of Eric in a field in Provence or something like that. And he's got an easel and he's got a smock on and he looks fantastic, sunshine and all that, wildflower meadow. And he's there with his easel and he's got his brush and he's holding it up, checking. I don't know what you do because I'm not an artist, but holding a brush up. And but when you turn it around, it's colour by numbers. You get apps for it on your phone and your iPad. I've seen adverts for it. That's what he was doing. Oh, bleu. De. Rouge. It's fucking, what's that? So we were doing a lot of painting.
Introduced all that. Did they introduce anything to the football culture in terms of practice after the training? And
he used to go out, but I think that was mainly because he was allowed to bring his child to training, and none of the rest of us were. So he was out on the pitch kicking the ball about with his son. So none of the rest of us were allowed to do that. So that's just so. Yeah, he did. He wanted to keep playing. Maybe didn't want to go home. I don't know. I never asked him.
Did Fergie let him away with a wee bit more? I know Lee Sharp used to moan about the fact that he would wear red trainers with a suit and all this kind of stuff.
Listen, all the great players, right, will get away with a bit more if they win games. And you have to. That's the skill of managing. You know the ones that you can just leave alone, low maintenance, and the other ones that are high maintenance that need a lot of love, care, attention. And I think that all the other coaches that had Eric would just try to bully him into that, and he wasn't having any of that. He needed somebody to understand about what he was like and what he was trying to do, and he found that with Alex Ferguson. Yeah, I suppose you're looking at it probably because Sharpie got more bollockings because the thing that Sharp was talking about was a civic reception. We all had to wear a suit, no jeans, and a tie, and Sharpie came in. He did have a suit on, but it might have been a wee bit colourful, and he got a row from Alex Ferguson. But it's like, what are you doing? What are you wearing that for? You know your fucking problem. It's this, it's that. You're wearing. You think you're made it. You think you're this. You think you're that. And Eric comes in, and he's got a suit on. Give him credit, but he's got a shirt, and he's got the same. He's got the collar turned up in the shirt, white shirt, no tie on. I think it was a blue suit, very nice suit. And then you look down, and he's got a pair of Nike high top, bright red. And they're quite right in Sharpie's mind, he's thinking, he's getting it. I've just had a bollocking for wearing a suit that's not that much, and it wasn't really that much out of the thing. And the manager just went over to Eric and said, nice suit, Eric. Maybe lose the trainers the next time, son, eh? That was it. Okay, so we. And that was it. Sharp was like, and then he sold Sharpie.
Obviously, Eric was involved in a famous incident at Selhurst Park. What was the reaction in the dressing room to that after it happened? Well,
I remember getting told by the reserve team goalkeeper, Gary Walsh, that Eric had, I didn't see it, that Eric had kung-fu somebody in the crowd. I says, that's not physically possible. That defies the laws of physics because it's like 2 foot, 3 foot drop down to that. You can't do that and get back up in the time that I saw for the noise of them doing it to be standing on the pitch. I'm thinking, no, that there's not enough time to kung fu somebody, land in the terrace and then jump back over again. So no, I'm telling you, did it? Nah, no chance. And then when I saw it on the telly, it was like, that's incredible, that. And then I wonder what he said. I wonder what he said. For fuck's sake, I know he's in a bit because he's been sent off again. But I'm thinking, see if you're a rubbish player, right? Like the player he stamped on at Crystal Palace, you should be allowed to get away with that. You should be allowed to get away with it. He played for England once as well. Fuck me. Is that, you actually then allows you to tell the story. What happened to you in your career? Eric Cantona stamped on me twice with both his feet. And it was not, he used to wear mouldy studs. It wasn't as if he could hurt you. If it was Roy Aitken size studs, Roy Aitken used to wear studs that size. Massive big studs. If it had been that, it might be a wee bit sorer, but there was like carpet slippers stamping on, So you should be allowed to, Eric should be allowed to get away with that, in my view. But particularly if you're a bad player. If you're a good player, that'd maybe a different thing, but the good players just used to stand and watch and admire him. Dad just thought, what has he said? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I thought, I know what was going to happen if any of the rest of us done it. We'd have been out. But then none of the rest of us were Cantona.
The speech he gave about the seagulls.
What about it?
Was he being serious, or was that a wind-up, Brian?
All right. So he knows he's got to say something, right? So he might as well have said what I said earlier. Do you know how to tell a Celtic and a Rangers fan when you're in a pub in Glasgow? One will be wearing green shoes and one will be wearing red and white shoes. He picked it because it's a fact. If you throw fish over a trawler, seagulls will follow the trawler. That's what it is. It's a fact. He could have said, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I am French. But everybody buys into this idea that it means something really philosophical. He was just pissed off. He's thinking, what have I done? I've only kicked some knobhead in the crowd. And I'm going to prison for it. And you're expecting me to go, say what? I'm sorry, I was like, you try it. Somebody comes down and runs down to you when you're in emotional distress because you've been sent off because you've stamped on a bad football player. You're in a heightened state of emotion, and somebody runs down and says something about your mother, of course you're going to be upset. Try it. Run about slagging somebody's mother off this afternoon and see what happens to you. Go down the high street.
There was another famous incident at Selhurst Park with a player that you've already told us that you never rated. So when
I never said that. I said I couldn't see a player at the time. And I was prepared to say that I could be proven wrong on that.
So Mr. Beckham picks up the ball.
No, you find that it was an exquisite pass, an exquisite assist. I came on as sub, and Fergie said, "Look, just keep it. Tell them." He probably said, "Tell those fucking idiots, calm down, play the game this way. Go get the ball." And so, right, no problem. Gav goes on. So let's go on. The game's nearly won now. Settle down. We're doing whatever else it is. Somebody passes me the ball, and I, thinking that I'll give the ball to David, and then I'll move somewhere else. He'll give it me back, and then we'll keep doing this up the pitch, and then we'll get a corner or a throw in. No, I pass the ball to him, and then the next one I'm going, oh, for fuck's sake, he's going to shoot. So he shoots, or he hits the ball. And I'm watching and going, fucking hell, that's gone in. Because I couldn't really tell so much, because you couldn't really tell, because I was in my own half and all that. And all I could think about was, fucking hell, Scottish goalkeeper. Did you have to do that? Did you decide because he was Scottish? Is that why you tried it? What was going through your head?
Is that what you said to him when you jumped on his back?
I don't know why I did that. Just like, I was just thinking, I don't know what I was doing. It was not bad. It was a cross. I think probably realised at that point, that's why you were trying all those fucking ridiculous passes, weren't you? And because one day you were dreaming about scoring from the halfway line against a Scottish goalkeeper in your own on your own backyard, weren't you? That's what you're doing. So you were quite a clever bastard, weren't you? Apart from the Scottish goalkeeper bit. So that was that fits in. It's an exquisite little pass to David Beckham, a little 1-2 with Monsieur Cantona, the 21-man brawl at Old Trafford, and that was my United career.
Beckham, of course, was part of the class of '92, as have become known, Brian. From that crop of players, who was the star for you? Because I know Beckham is the glitzy guy and all the rest of it, but who was the real star of that group of players?
Well, for me, I was fortunate that Nicky Bott, I was fortunate or not, but Nicky Bott and Paul Scholes asked me to go in to see Martin Edwards on their behalf and speak about a contract for them. And at the time, I said that for me, it was in pecking order in the sense of where it would be. It was for me, it was Scholes, Butt, Beckham, Neville Junior, Neville Senior. That's where I put it in. Scholes was an astonishing football player, and as you might have seen recently, he's quite an interesting human being as well. He doesn't take much shit whatsoever, Scholes, you know. One of the nicest things that Scholes ever did for me was that I was coaching with Brian Kidd at Blackburn, and we got a ticket. The window cleaner, who still cleans the windows at Carrington, asked if he'd get a ticket, because I think Man United were playing away that day or there was no game, and he would come to Blackburn, and I went out to the front of the stadium at Blackburn to give him his ticket, and he said to me, "Scholes told me to give you a message." I thought, that's really nice of him. What did he say? Hello. Fair enough. Tell him the same thing back.
Neil Lennon's in charge of Celtic. Obviously, what's your views on Rodgers leaving?
The powers that be have decided that he would be allowed to speak to Leicester, and he felt that, for whatever reason, that that's where his next step was with regards to his coaching. I think that kind of don't really get if it's reported. Was the thing about saying about, you know, if you go, you just got to say. So I knew it was going to happen to me, in the sense of how disappointed people were going to be when I left Celtic, and you just, that's part of how it is. And I'm very grateful for any kind of affection I get from anybody that supports Celtic in particular. Now, I didn't go turn around and say, well, but I'm disappointed in how people have been saying things about me, or I would be disappointed if I didn't get to manage in the future. Well, just stay then. You know, it's like, don't make a fuss, because no football fans are not stupid. None of them are stupid, so they know when it's like crap, really. You know, just don't say it. You're going to go, and that's your decision to go. Fine. And then going to go. Now, what has happened with that is it's given Neil Lennon, who had a difficult time after doing so well at Hibs, and another opportunity to be the manager, coach, whatever you want to call him, at Glasgow Celtic, and I'm sure he's more than pleased that Brendan decided to go to a giant club in the Midlands. No, sorry, he went to Leicester.
In your playing days, what's your favourite memory of playing against Rangers?
I suppose my favourite one was the guy didn't punch me when he ran on the pitch at Celtic Park. There's a guy ran on the pitch as I was about to take a penalty. I think he was a Rangers. He came to the Rangers then, he might not be a Rangers fan. And he was running straight towards me, and I thought, well, for fuck's sake, what do you do here? Do you just punch him back? Or what? I don't know. I didn't know. New Year's Day, can't remember what year it was. Ibrox. Celtic 1, Rangers 0, Celtic 1, goal scorer McClair. There's no, I don't think there's any TV of this, because I don't know, there might be, but I hit this pile driver from the edge of the box, and it was such a strong effort that we all turned away as we expected to ram into the top hand corner of Peter McCloy, the Given Lighthouse, who was in goals for Rangers at the time. Anyway, it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing shot. It was embarrassing, right? It was like, oh, for fuck. Anyway, this few seconds later, the crowd are up behind the goals. Peter McCloy's gone down to pick up the ball, and it's rolled through his legs. And it didn't even touch the net, it just rolled over the line. So I never actually saw it going in. And none of the rest of us, until we turned round and all you lot are celebrating. And I go, what's happened there? What are they cheering for? And you could see him going, he's just looking. And it just rolled over the line. That's my finest achievement as a football player.
This gentleman's wearing a Tommy Burns t-shirt. What's your favourite memory, Tommy?
Probably the favourite memory was he came in to me one day and I was sitting in the dressing room and he said to me, what age are you, son? I said, I'm 20, Tommy. 2 weeks' time you'll be my age, 27. What the fuck are you on about? Anyway, he got it bang on. It's 2 weeks later and I'm 55 now. How did that happen? How did that happen?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for attending today and for all your questions and your participation.
Thank you very much, you've been brilliant. Thank you.
What we've done today, Kevin and I do it every week on a podcast called the Celtic State of Mind. So please listen in, subscribe to Celtic State of Mind, listen to what we're doing. So today, we've been very, very proud to share a stage with this man to my left. This has been made possible by our partners FansBet, so a huge thank you to them. I'd just like to put your hands together for Brian McClair.
Thank you.
A Celtic State of Mind can be found at Acsom.net. We're sponsored by FansBet, the betting company by fans for fans.